Hello and welcome to DK Vine Done Slow. I'm Hyle Russell and here we go. We are beginning the journey of Banjo-Kazooie. I am of course playing on Nintendo Switch Online plus expansion pack, and you can tell from my little Donkey Kong icon up there that I'm playing with the Nintendo 64 controller. I am going all in on this one. So, whenever I played on Nintendo Switch Online, I usually use the Pro controller, so this is a bit weird for me holding this thing again. Of course, this classic intro here with the Nintendo xylophone, just to show that this is the authentic original version of Banjo-Kazooie, or at least as original as is commercially available these days. Hello to Just Andre in the live stream. I will be checking in with a live stream chat as I can as we progress. Of course, this is DK Vine Done Slow, so we are taking things extremely slow. And just, it's surreal to me to come back to this version. I mean, this is the version, of course, that I know best. This is the version that I lived and breathed for the better part of 1998. Honestly, well into 1999 as well. And some of 2000, but I mean, my life revolved around this game. My console life revolved around this game, especially that summer that it came out. And even though I've played the, we're gonna cycle through as much of these as we can. Even though I played the XBLA version as the only version I've really played since 2008 or so, it's never displaced this version for me. This version, with all of its quirks and quibbles, has always been the definitive Banjo-Kazooie for me. So it's just great to have it back. I'm so excited that Rare and Microsoft and Nintendo were able to broker this deal and give gamers this. It means a lot. I've always been like, the XBLA versions are fine. You know, they are what they are. They have some flaws, but they're superior in some ways, and they're close enough. I don't need the original Banjo-Kazooie back, but to have the original Banjo-Kazooie back, standard definition and all, it's fantastic. God, the Flibbits look so much like Winky the Frog. Don't think I didn't discuss that quite a bit when I first played the game. It's amazing because I haven't sat here for this in quite a while, and it's amazing how much of the game they do show you. Like, oh, here's Mad Monster Mansion. Like, spoilers much? There's gonna be a haunted mansion? Hello to Jeffrin and Steve McCorkle, two beloved members of the Rare fan community. And Steve says, I paused the Dinosaur Planet conversation to put on your stream while I work. It's a very Hyle-filled morning. And hello to Dre as well. Wow, everybody's turning up. All right, we've already sat through this once. Let's, oh, I have to press the start button. It's the N64 controller. Weird. Okay. Okay, here we go. Oh, where are we now? Oh, this is Treasure Trove Cove. Oh, should I watch another set of these? I did have a request before I started that I must sit through all of the attractions. And, I'm like, well, that's a bit overkill. Right? Like, we don't want to sit through all of this. But then again, it's kind of cool to just to sit back and see this. I don't know how many people have all of these on, you know, YouTube archived, so it's just kind of cool to see. Yeah, and there's Freeze's Peak, complete with Sir Slush. I'm sure I'll tell all of these stories as I play through the game, but of course Sir Slush has a certain level of importance to me, because that's where I got my online moniker from. And back in the days when you would have an online moniker and you just want to use a real name because our whole lives are online. I am honestly shocked how much of the game they show. Yeah, Rusty Bucket Bay, really? I don't know why. I just imagined that they, you know, made me stop around Clanker's Cavern, Bubble Gloop Swamp at the most. But no, here we go. We're seeing everything. I remember being a kid and, you know, leaving the N64 on and just watching, like, how much of this is different each time. But of course I've forgotten all of that in the last 24 years. Oh, excuse me, Scooter corrected me. Freeze's Peak, sir. That was Click Clock Wood. Yeah, you're right. Wow. I should just delete DK Vine now. I see the Sir Slush and I immediately think Freeze's Peak, forgetting, of course, that Sir Slush has come back in the winter portion of Click Clock Wood, which is a delight. I am so glad they do. Okay, 2 different sets. We're good to go now. I will hopefully not make any more factual errors as the stream continues. Alright. So here we go. The file select screen, which of course is Banjo's house, and these all have alternate animations that are like randomized whenever you select. So there's Banjo sleeping in his bed. There's Banjo cooking a stew. And then there's Banjo and Kazooie playing the brick Game Boy, which, you know, at this stage in 98, they could have at least had a Game Boy Pocket. They didn't have to use the original brick Game Boy, but I'm glad they did. It just, that's just on the precipice right now of the brick Game Boy just finally losing relevance with the advent of the Game Boy Color that autumn. But wow, they've even got the sickly green color right. It's a lovely touch. We'll go to file 1 though. So yeah, occasionally like you select file 2, which is of course my original game cartridge, what I played on, because, you know, file 2 Productions, I was all about file 2. And so occasionally there would be a hidden door that would swing the kitchen, like reverse Banjo and fling him into the wall. And I always like to imagine that's where Banjo and Kazooie's bathroom actually is. You don't see their bathroom in their house, and I like to think the knowledge that there is a hidden door there means that that is where their bathroom is. There's more to the house than we see. And the story. I appreciate, like, there's nothing to this plot. This is a very stupid plot, but it sucks you in just kind of the first person zoom into Grunty's lair and up the door, and Rare was always so great. They still are, with just immersing you in a world immediately and making you believe in it. Grunty's little finger wiggle there has stuck with me. I don't know, whenever I think about Brentilda, the first thing I think of is that finger wiggle. And yeah, it's a bit weird, it's a bit odd that this bear that's a completely different species from Brentilda, who is a child, is, like, how do you measure beauty, even? Like, I understand the fairy tale aspect of this, and it's stupid to critique it, but how do you measure an adult woman who's, I guess, human, you know, compared to a little child bear? Like, I've never been jealous of a bear cub, I have to be honest. Never once in my life, except, oh, you get to be out in the woods, out in the forest, out in the mountains today. Lucky you. I have to work. It's the only time I've ever been jealous. And here's the relationship between Bottles and Tootie. They have a pre-existing relationship. And I think Bottles is some sort of, like, traveling salesman type. I've theorized he's actually an art smuggler. But, so he's obviously met Tootie before. Banjo still hasn't met Bottles at this point. Banjo nor Kazooie. This is like the most wholesome Kazooie's ever been. I want to go on an adventure too. I love the sparkle effects behind Brentilda's broom. Bottles is an idiot. Just a little bit. Yeah, is that your brother? The bear? Is that him flying up in the sky, shimmering green? And also, Brentilda thought she was beautiful until she asked Dingpot, and then Dingpot said, nah, Tootie is prettier than you, and so Grunty has immediately reverted to thinking of herself as ugly. Like, she has zero mental reserves. She has zero self-esteem. Like, her entire self-image can be shattered by one person, one sentence, and then I mean, she's already a heel, right? She's already a villain. So this isn't like her villainous origin story, but damn, Brentilda was just going about her day, and Dingpot had to mention that he thought, objectively, that a bear was cuter, more attractive than she. And then here we are. I don't know. It's weird. It's weird how history turns on small events. Hello to Chris in a live stream. Says, what's interesting about Bottles is, and I would argue that quite a bit is interesting about Bottles. But he says, what's interesting about Bottles is, outside of this cutscene, he never has any problems with his eyesight ever again. He can play kickball just fine. Yeah, I think, granted, we've never really seen Bottles try to see something that far away before. He is nearsighted, so I guess that makes sense. Let's go in here. Wow, it's weird playing with the N64 controller. I am so used to playing this with an Xbox controller now. This is, oh my god. Oh, I don't know if I like this. Oh. Anyway, this is Banjo's house, and we just have to spend some time in here. Just like I love spending time in Donkey Kong's treehouse, no matter what version, what iteration of it you're playing in. There's 3 versions, by the way, and they're all canonically different. Mario Wiki is wrong, Donkey Kong Wiki is wrong, they're all different. And also, Diddy Kong doesn't live in Donkey Kong's treehouse, Donkey Kong Wiki. Whatever, I'll exchange words with them later. Banjo's house, and I guess Banjo-Kazooie's house, is always defined as Banjo's house, but Kazooie lives here too. I just assume it's Banjo's house because Banjo lived here first before Kazooie moved in. It has some curiosities. Now, in a beta version, Donkey Kong's portrait was here. And for more on that, I would visit Rare Gamer. Rare Gamer has a wonderful section on Stop and Swap, and there's a lot of theories about what Donkey Kong's portrait was once doing in here, which we will discuss towards the end stage of this DK Vine Done Slow walkthrough. I'm talking like part 15 or whenever, however long this takes. But it's obviously no longer present here in the final version. We've got 2D, which makes sense, a portrait of your sister. Sure. Or I guess not a portrait. I guess it's just supposed to be a large picture, portrait size, though. And then we have Banjo and Kazooie, and I have a few pictures, I guess, of myself in my own home with, but I don't know. Just like, hey, Kazooie, we need a framed portrait of ourselves in here. Sure. But Bottles. Why is there a portrait of Bottles when, at this stage, I haven't even talked to Bottles yet. So Banjo, this is the last point in the canon, time travel shenanigans and Granny's Revenge notwithstanding, that Banjo and Kazooie do not know Bottles. And yet, there is a portrait of Bottles hanging above the fireplace, arguably the most prominent place you could put art or decor in your house. And that just raises a whole host of questions. So when I said Bottles was an art smuggler, my theory is that he took this valuable magical painting, and it is magical, as we will find out much later, but he stole this from somewhere on the Isle of Hags, maybe, painted over it with his own visage, gave it to 2D for safekeeping, using his relationship with his child as a way to get the authorities off his case. And then 2D gave it to Bottles. He was like, here you go. 2D gave it to Banjo. And was like, here you go, brother. Here's a picture of my mole friend. Hang it in your house. And Banjo was like, oh, okay, I'll hang it in my house. I'll hang this mole in my house. And that's my explanation for it, but it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Donkey Kong would have made more sense. Anyway, we got a picture of a beach. I think that might be the beach from the end of the game, but let's hop up on the bed here. All right, going to first-person view. So there's another picture of 2D. Wait, is that the same? That's the same character art. It's just a smaller size. Why does he need two? Why does he need two? That's weird. That's weird. I don't have the same two pictures of the same person, just in different sizes in my home. That's upsetting. Anyway, there is a very early build of what would become Banjo-Kazooie. The 2.5D build, I don't even know if Kazooie was implemented when they took this image of it. I think probably was, but this is the evolution of Banjo-Kazooie before it became more in line with Super Mario 64. But this image right here, sort of hidden in the corner, visible only if you go into first-person view, sparked so many conspiracy theories back in the day, attached to Stop and Swap, attached to the knowledge that there was going to be a fungi forest as a planned world in the game. Of course, it would be implemented in some form in Donkey Kong 64, the general idea of it. But because this image right here existed, and we did not know, we the plebes, we the commoners, did not know the evolution of Banjo-Kazooie before it became Banjo-Kazooie, we thought this was an image of fungi forest. And we thought this was the game cluing us in that there is an unlockable world. Fungi Forest, Hammerhead Beach, Mount Fire Eyes, the three worlds that Nintendo Power discussed back when the game was announced in the summer of '97. And then, of course, were nowhere to be seen in the final game. And we thought, surely, maybe at least one, maybe two, maybe all three were unlockable via the ice key and question mark eggs, and we thought this was a big clue. It was not, we now know. When Rare Replay came out, they had all of the documentaries about the making of the game, and we learned the full history of Project Dream, and there we go. But considering there were also plenty of renders that utilize this imagery, it was a massive road sign for us as far as figuring out what the Ice King question mark eggs did, and it was all wrong. But I love it all the same. And of course, we thought that was Hammerhead Beach as well. I think Hammerhead Beach was just a beta name for Treasure Trove Cove. And then over here, really quick, we have to pay our dues. Man, I'm so not used to the way the first-person view works in Banjo-Kazooie with the N64 controller. Royston, tapping 3 times. Now, we did not know his name was Royston. He was nothing at this point. He was just Banjo's pet goldfish. But, you know, he was utilized in a near end-of-game joke with Mumbo. And Tui really fleshed him out and really like built him up as an actual character. I could have not told you back in '98 how much this stupid triangular fish prop in Banjo's house would come to define so much of what I did in my life. And as I say it, my own self-esteem is starting to shatter. This is my dingpot moment. I'm like, wow, is this really what my life amounts to? Championing this? Oh god. Oh god. Darkness is just surrounding me. I'm descending into the abyss. Oh my god. Alright, let's look up here. So we have a canonical start time for when the story of Banjo-Kazooie begins. Yeah, is that almost 8 a.m. when the story of Banjo-Kazooie begins? Cool. And the cuckoo clock. Which why is the cuckoo clock, is it broken? Is it just continually going off? Because it's not even on the hour. Alright, whatever. So Banjo shelves. Let's look at his books really quick. And of course, we can't make out any of this. None of this is legible. But it's nice to know Banjo's a reader. They don't even seem to own a TV. Unless it's, you know, behind the trapdoor here, which we can never visit. I guess the beauty of the trapdoor is there could be anything behind there. Of course, they eventually get a TV in nuts and bolts because they're playing Xbox outside, but... Steve says, I didn't expect an existential crisis this early in the stream. I expected it. Alright, just not so soon. And Chris says, fun fact, the plant next to the fishbowl is also named Royston. Well. Alright, I guess we should leave. Is there anything else I should look at in here? I like the curtains. Those purple and yellow curtains. It's a weird design choice. They're more saber wolf colors than anything. Of course, Banjo-Kazooie would also resurrect the Saberwolf franchise, albeit temporarily. So maybe this was just them planting a clue. Yes, one day we will filter the old character of Saberman through the Banjo-Kazooie series and have it be spun off yet again. But not yet. That rug. Fangamer should sell this rug. Just sell the rug. Just nothing on there. No Banjo-Kazooie logos. Just sell that rug. Banjo's rug. Order it on Fangamer. I bet they would do it. They're getting very obscure with their references and deep cuts and the merchandise they sell. And as much as I've always wanted a pair of Mr. Pants Y-front underwear, I would definitely order Banjo's rug. Alright. Let's go. Let's talk to bottles. And I guess meat bottles for the first time. Hey, you're the guy on my wall! I'm Banjo, and here's my buddy Kazooie. Sure is a strange-looking buddy, Banjo. Can it talk? Bottles with the racism right away. So I guess Bottles drew first blood in the relationship with Kazooie. Like, that immediately set the tone with his relationship with Kazooie. It wasn't that Kazooie is just mean. Bottles was just a dick from the start. It's like, oh, that's the way this is gonna be. All right, well, fuck you for the rest of time. And yeah, the question a lot of gamers have is, how did Banjo and Kazooie never notice the giant witch's lair adjacent to their house? And I'm sure they knew it was there. Like, I'm sure... Yeah, we're gonna do the training the right way. But I guess Brentilda's never really come out and caused havoc up until this point. So that's why it hasn't really mattered. It's like if you live in the same neighborhood as like somebody you suspect, I'm speaking as an American here, somebody you suspect is a white nationalist militia member, you're gonna be wary of their house, and you're gonna like, you know, flick them off whenever you drive by, but you don't think they're ever going to really, you know, attack you, maybe, you know, they're gonna like, I don't know, storm the Capitol or something. So when it happens, you're like, oh, I guess I should have paid more attention to that militia compound adjacent to my house. It's sad that I can speak from experience as an American for that. All right. There we go. The N64 controller is weird. Anyone home? I don't know. What was that accent? That wasn't the right one. The camera controls. They're only... Remember when camera controls were an important thing? You had to, like... The first thing you had to explain to gamers? Because it was so complicated. Worm breath. That's foreshadowing because he's going to die in Tui. Yeah, okay. Camera controls. That does help aligning the camera. I mean, it's easy to joke about, but the camera controls are so much superior to Super Mario 64. Yes, they feel clunky in comparison to today, but compared to Super Mario 64, this is very smooth camera controls. Yep. Oh, Kazooie seems so innocent here. She's worried about looking silly. She's self-conscious. She's so young here. Alright. What did he say? I wasn't paying attention. Hold Z. Oh yeah, Z. I forgot about the Z button. Holy shit. I'm so used to playing this on the Xbox controller. Oh. Even when I, you know, messed around with this when I got the NSO, I only played with the N64 controller, you know, briefly. So, this is wild. This feels so weird compared to how I've been playing a version of Banjo-Kazooie since the late aughts. Oh yeah, everything talks to you when you first collect it. So that honeycomb piece has googly eyes as it's communicating with you. But of course, the honeycomb piece we collected do not have googly eyes. And so the question is every item, every object in Banjo-Kazooie actually alive, or is it just, you know, case-by-case basis? Oh, I should be walking the path. I always like to walk the path because I'm like, this path is here for a reason, and I'm sure Banjo would use it. Although it's weird that there is a path because it's not really like the grass is that long. I guess if it's not mowed, you want a path. All right. Banjo's so delicate. And also, like, just the... Here, let me teach you how to swim. Something that, you know, people struggle with. It takes a lot to learn how to swim when you're a child. And here, he's just like... Press this button, and then they just know. Oh, yeah, I forgot the controls are... So, I also just recently played ukulele, so this feels so clunky in comparison. Oh my god. Alright, come on. Come on, alright. No! Don't drown right here. Oh my god, okay, good. Whew. Whew. I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I saw me drowning in the training area in Spiral Mountain. And I didn't like it. I didn't like that look on me. Here's the best part of the whole training sequence, right up here. I think it's a claw swipe banjo. God, everybody's kind of an idiot at this early stage in Banjo-Kazooie's story. Bottle Boy is a weird insult. It's like getting into a feud with somebody named Tom and calling him Tom Man. It's like, yeah, that's a good description. So this is Topper the Carrot, and Topper the Carrot is probably one of the greatest contributions in all of Western fiction. I think Topper is right up there with Charles Foster Kane. He is just magnificent in every way. Stellar character design there. And I like that Bottles knows these vegetables. These googly-eyed vegetables. He knows them, he's befriending them, and he's like, hey, will you be the targets for this bear and bird as they learn how to... What am I... Come on! How far can I push him? Could I push him out of the ring? Never... No, I think it's bouncing him back after a certain point. Yeah, it's hard to do, but I don't think I can push him all the way back to Banjo's house. Kazooie's speaking for everybody playing the game, where, you know, you've seen the screenshots or the video footage of Kazooie flying. You know, she's a bird, so you know what's coming, and so you're just impatient. You're like, I want to fly. Teach me how to fly. It's one of those instances where they know what the player is going to be thinking, and so they just put it in there as like it shows that they're in sync with you. Okay, so this is Ball the Onion. Maybe not as great of a character as Topper or Collywobble, but I still like Ball all the same. Now, Collywobble, Bottles says his name with a Y there, but I believe in the credits it's spelled with an I. And so I think it's supposed to be with an I, that it's just Bottles' accent. Whatever that accent is that makes it appear like he used a Y. Yeah, that's my explanation for that. I love the way Collywobble sort of explodes there. Cauliflower is such a gross-looking vegetable when you really think about it. Alright. It's weird when you first start playing this game. Oh yeah, and now the vegetables are just roaming about. Now, I've had it argued to me that because there are multiple... Oh yeah. Sticky, tasty honey energy. That's... When I was a male dancer, that's what I went by. I've heard people argue me that Topper and Collywobble and Ball, they're just drones because there's multiple versions of them roaming around Spiral Mountain. And I think there is a singular Topper, and there's a singular Collywobble, and there's a singular Ball. There are multiple carrots, but one of them is Topper. Like, Topper is just his name. It's not a Toad or Yoshi situation. So, yeah. I didn't learn how to climb trees. I love the look of Spiral Mountain, too. It's such a warm, inviting place. Root Muncher sounds particularly vile. Just think Muncher in general, it's just a word that is very evocative of certain practices. Find plenty of other things to climb. There's a honeycomb in one of the trees. And here we go, this weird quarry down here with googly-eyed rocks. It's not much of a quarry, is it? But I imagine this is something that Brentilda maybe carved out when she was building her lair back in the late 70s. And just a byproduct that's still standing. This Spiral Mountain, it's weird to see it contextualized like that. It's like the Batman. Yeah, jam jars. So I don't know if you noticed, but in Kazooie's various insults to bottles throughout Spiral Mountain, she uses the names that would be repurposed for several of his family members, like in Banjo-Tooie, like jam jars, and I think Specky and Goggles. She doesn't use Mrs. Bottles as an insult, unfortunately, so. Nor is Bazai in there for you Granny's Revenge fans. So Chris asks, question I've never thought about before. What's the yellow stuff in Spiral Mountain? Corn? Some kind of seed? Fields of flowers? Yeah, so when I got to visit Twycross, I saw fields of yellow, and I asked what they were, and I was told it was rapeseed. And so seeing that now, I see a lot of like the Midlands of the UK, the very rural English countryside in Spiral Mountain. I always associated it with sort of where I grew up, which was the Shenandoah Valley. So just kind of, obviously, the English Midlands are not mountainous. So that whole aspect that it is a valley, there it is. That part felt more at home to me, because this is very similar to the environment I grew up in. Yes, even waterfalls and, well, maybe not so much Wicked Witch layers, but now I've got an extra honeycomb piece. Terrific. Now let's see if I can get this without falling. Look out for me. I'm an extra life. I feel like the extra lives... Yeah, there we go. I feel like the extra lives of Banjo-Kazooie are obviously the most undercooked thing in the game, because they would be completely discarded by the time 2E comes around. It's like, okay, we're not going to have lives. We're just going to get rid of that whole conceit. It's sort of meaningless. It's just one of those artifacts that they still haven't kind of worked out of what games were in the late 90s. It's like, well, we've got to have lives, right? Games have lives. And by the time 2E rolled around, you know, just a little over 2 years later, they were like, no, we don't need lives. That's just kind of stupid that we still go by that. But the fact that it's just a golden statue of Banjo, that makes it like... So, there's no thematic consistency with any of the collectibles in this game, which is something I've kind of harped about since replaying Ukulele. Like, at least there is consistency between all the collectibles there. Like, there's some thematic element that is unified there. But yeah, it's just all over the map here. A golden statue of Banjo. Oh, speaking of, I should go back down to his house and get the one atop his chimney. Chimney. So you can see, like, the objects kind of materialize as you get closer, but for the most part, Banjo-Kazooie had amazing draw distance compared to other N64 games of the era. And it was so crystal clear, too. Nothing drenched in fog to hide it. It was... God, Rare, they were masters of getting the most out of a system. Just full stop. Just look how crisp that is for the N64 in 1998. God, I love the way that there's the green clouds just surrounding Grunny's lair. Not explained in any way. It's just like the very magical, evil nature of Brentilda is shrouding the sky, but you look beside it and it's just vibrant blue skies. Alright, let's actually go up the Spiral Mountain. The Spiral Mountain. This whole place is called Spiral Mountain, but it's named after the mountain, the little hill that is, in fact, spiraled. Let's go up and start the journey. I love the bridge that I just fell off of. A little stone bridge. Because you can see how old this is. Like, this bridge has been here for decades, if not a century or more. Just completely dirty, coated in moss. But it's sturdy. Like, that might have been here back when the Jinjos were populating Spiral Mountain. Of course, this is probably the most iconic location in Banjo-Kazooie, to the point where it is their Smash Brothers stage, and for good reason. Well done! You walked the path that went slightly uphill. Yeah, I guess I could have shown that the bridge was busted if you tried to go without completing your training. And just the slow evolution as you cross the bridge of the music getting more sinister in a very cheery kind of way. Never completely foreboding, but one last look at the homeland before I go in. And here you get to see, like, what's beyond Spiral Mountain's borders. And oh yeah, you can see a little entrance above the waterfall there. You can't make out anything. It just looks like rolling hills as far as I can see. But I remember in '98 being adamant that this was part of the northern Cremisphere seen in Donkey Kong Country 3, just to the east of Razor Ridge. I still like that theory. And here we have a big-time character debut. There he is, everyone. Klungo. Klungo. When I was watching the John Lovitz VHS tape, you caught a glimpse of Klungo. And, you know, just a quick glimpse, you can't really, like, register any of the details. But I thought it was Baron K. Rulenstein, very briefly. And I do love that Brentilda name drops him, because I'm sure people are like, who's that? Oh, that's Klungo. And the way, too many ellipses. There needed to be a copy editor there. Just 3 ellipses and call it. Anyway, yeah, I appreciate that they name dropped Klungo because, again, and I know this is me and this is the other DK Vine staff and a lot of people in our community, but we obsess over characters above all else. And a lot of games, they would just never name the stock, like, hunched over mad science assistant. Or it wouldn't be treated like a big deal, right? Maybe you would get his name in the credits eventually, but no, it's like Klungo. That's Klungo. Even though he doesn't really serve any purpose in the basic plot of Banjo-Kazooie, that is Klungo. And of course, we obsessed over him, and they made him a much more prominent part of Banjo-Tooie. And there is Mr. Jiggy, the most established Jiggy in Banjo-Kazooie canon, outside of the, you know, the Jiggy Wiggy, who isn't a Jiggy, he is a Jiggy priest, whatever, but I would imagine all the Jiggies have some level of intelligence, even if it isn't overt, just this unconscious, like, knowing magical energy. Just look at the walls of Grunty's lair. Like, the monsters that are like what is that? Is that Spyro the Dragon? That's what it looks like, Spyro the Dragon. And that's like an angry jack-o'-lantern? I've never really been able to make out what any of this stuff is, but I love it. Like, these aren't creatures that are in the game, right? So what are they? Are they like Ed Bryan doodles that they made into the kind of the rocky wall texture? And Grunty and her rhymes, and it's a great way for the game to remind you of what's at stake, that Grunty is the primary antagonist. Weirdly, Banjo-Tooie didn't do it well, but I would say Banjo-Kazooie and Donkey Kong 64 both reminded you of the primary antagonist and incorporated them throughout the game. So it was never like, we're not letting this great character go to waste. We're going to use it. We're going to remind you of their existence. Yeah, I'm walking very slowly right now. I'm just soaking it all in. I love so much of this. And then, yeah, just this little cavern that's been painted to resemble the interior of Mumbo's Mountain. Just a lot of fantastic detail. This is an N64 game in 1998, but nothing looks muddy, nothing looks overly blurry. It's all just so crisp. I do think the whole jigsaw, adding the jigsaw to the portraits, finding the portraits, it's all right. It works well enough. But it almost feels like trying to take what Mario did, what Super Mario 64 did, and just trying to put their own spin on it. I think what Tooie did was ultimately better, but I do like that Banjo-Kazooie's worlds seem to be in their own realm, like some sort of separate dimension. Of course, we theorized at DK Vine that this might be the same pocket realm of the Sea of Thieves, which we know Treasure Trove Cove is within that dimensional construct, because Treasure Trove Cove is in a Sea of Thieves. It just, at the time, the Sea of Thieves surrounded by the Devil's Shroud, or enveloped by the Devil's Shroud. But I guess I'll discuss way more about Sea of Thieves when I get to Treasure Trove Cove. Let's go to Mumbo's Mountain. Almost an hour in, and we've reached the first world. Welcome to DK Vine Done Slow. There are 3 new moves to learn in this world. Find my molehills, and I'll explain. I think you just explained. I guess he means he'll explain the moves. And there are... The first enemy, actual enemy you see in the game, is a grublin. Of course, these went through some interesting design evolutions. That one time they looked way more like Mumbo Jumbo. Let's go get this Jinjo. Yippee! You saved me! Brentilda has imprisoned 5 of us Jinjos on each world. Free us all to get a Jiggy. And I think the implication is that Brentilda, like, has magically bound them so they can't move. That's why they flail their arms about and scream, "Help! Help!" They magically cannot move from the location they are in unless they experience the touch, not of a lover, but of a wandering barren bird. I'm a note, 1 of 100 on each world. Collect us to open the note doors. The argument about notes and whether it's fair that you lose all your note progress when you exit a world is one that people go back and forth on, because the XBLA version infamously changed it so the notes stayed collected. When you touch them, that was it. But the way the note placement works, they also lead the player to certain things. So you don't necessarily want to do that. I prefer the way Kazooie does it, I think. Of course, with save states, it doesn't really matter. Oh my god, swimming's such a fucking mental hurdle to get over. Oh, I hope I have it figured out by the time I get to Treasure Trove Cove. And Clanker's Cavern, forget about it. I'll be a helpless little baby in Clanker's Cavern. Oh my god, move! Move, what's wrong with you? You don't want to drown. I guess they're doing pretty well considering they just learned to swim. Like 20 minutes ago. I'm going back down here though. Look at that little shell. It's a little, is that a sprite? Yeah, it's a little rotating sprite shell. Oh my god, I don't think I've ever noticed that. It's a, like, what, a freshwater crab? What would that be? Alright, now I'm gonna take the bridge like a proper civilized being. Try not to get gored. Having a bull there was terrifying. Like, the second enemy you encounter in the game is a charging, stampeding bull. I guess they wanted the player to get gored to justify the honeycomb hives. Oh, there he is. Conga. Let's go experience it for ourselves. This Conga's tree, me hit bear with oranges. So Conga the gorilla, such a fantastic character. I thought he was going to have a bigger role in the game when I was reading about it. Don't touch Conga's blocks. But the question is Conga a Kong? And I say yes. I say Conga is a Kong. And of course, you must search for 10 of us on each world. We'll help you progress through the witch's lair. Yeah, I guess that's the second Jiggy that talks to you. After Mr. Jiggy. Alright, let's talk to Chimpy. Chimpy Kong really quick. Chimpy hungry, wants orange now. Feed Chimpy. Now, let's look at Chimpy. Now, Chimpy is obviously just a tweaked Diddy Kong. His ears are a little bit bigger, more pronounced. He's got greenish eyes instead of the blue that Diddy was sporting in this era. No clothing to speak of whatsoever. So, it's just a nude, slightly altered Diddy Kong, which is fine because this team effectively is the same as the team that gave us Donkey Kong Country and Donkey Kong Country 2. My biggest quibble with Chimpy is that Chimpy is named Chimpy, but he's a monkey. And I brought this up throughout the years, and every time I bring it up, I get shouted down. Well, Chimpy was a nickname for Grant Kirkhope. Yeah, doesn't change the fact that you applied it to a monkey. And that's one of my biggest pet peeves is, yeah, we're getting a gratuitous ass shot of Chimpy here. One of my biggest pet peeves is that monkeys are not apes, right? And so when, say, K. Rool calls Donkey Kong a monkey, it's derogatory. it's supposed to be an insult. So I'm fine with that, but I don't like when they misapply the terminology or switch it around. I hate when people call gorillas monkeys, chimps monkeys, orangutans monkeys. So I don't like this, and this is one of the only times Rare really did this. And it upsets me. As a primate enthusiast, it upsets me. But I do like Chimpy. And I guess his parents just named him Chimpy because he displayed innate intelligence of a chimpanzee. He was far beyond just a mere monkey. No, he was a chimp. But chimps are actually assholes, and they're my least favorite primate. Alright, let's get that orange for Chimpy. So, you can hear Conga make the ape noises, and we'll be safe in the tree. And yes, that is the same sound effect that Donkey Kong uses in non-rare appearances during this era, what we call the carburetor noise. And the reason is because that noise was not recorded by Nintendo, was not recorded by Rare. That is a stock sound effect used in Hollywood sound effects libraries of actually a chimpanzee. I think it dates back to maybe the 40s, or it's several years old, several decades old by this point. Anyway, so yeah, it's been applied to 2 gorillas in the DKU. But it's actually that of a chimp, and they just speed it up or slow it down depending on the needs. Hey, that Conga's orange. Put it back. Yum. Oranges are nice. Yeah, they are. Auto orange. I think one of the only, if not the only, vor enthusiast in the DKU, because he so badly wants to be eaten. He knows he's delicious. He knows he's sweet. He knows his flesh is tender and succulent and juicy, and he wants to be eaten so bad by that monkey over there. So we're going to give him what he wants. Otto's brief appearance is very brief, but he burns so brightly. Oh, Chimpy like Conga's orange. Chimpy help fat bear and bird. Bye, Chimpy. It is cool to see a gorilla and a monkey in a completely different context from Donkey and Diddy. And it's cool to see them crave a fruit that's not a banana. And yeah, it kind of sets up Donkey Kong 64 incorporating other fruits into the Kong's diet. That's the way I like to think of it. You see, like, the economy of this. These are all very simple tasks, but they get 3 jiggies out of Conga over here. Oh my god, get up on the fucking... No! No! Oh my god, it's so slippery. Why is this wood so slippery? Oh my god, I'm gonna... Alright. There we go. Where are the eggs? Because we can learn to use this. It's like a band introduce themselves. Ladies and gentlemen, the eggs! And it's funny because there's not even we haven't even learned how to shoot them yet. But we're collecting them. Me Mumbo's token, used for Mumbo magic. Raises some questions. I guess they're magical little totems, you know, like Mumbo can derive magic from them the same way you can derive magic from Globos. But they introduce themselves as Mumbo's tokens, and they're known as Mumbo tokens. And they're skull-shaped, but I guess any practicing shaman or magic practitioner could use them. I don't know. Alright, let's talk to Bottles. Time for the buzzard to learn the ancient ways of the egg. I like how that's in quotes there. Press the bottom. So the question, of course, these aren't Kazooie's eggs. They're found scattered about. So I don't even think they're Breagle eggs. So they're just, I don't know, sparrow eggs? I don't even know what kind of birds they would be. But Kazooie... Oh yeah, I forgot Bottles did this. He tops you off. So Kazooie does that, right? And that would imply that she has to shove them up her own ass. No ways about it. Like, you hear the farty noise, unless that's supposed to be a queef, and I don't think it is. I don't think the game was going there. So Kazooie would, in fact, have to insert each egg into her rear and then fart them out. I know the joke, Kazooie's always pregnant, but these aren't her eggs. You are finding them throughout. So, all right, let's just do this. Yar! Eggs hurt Conga. And oranges hurt Banjo, apparently. No, don't beak barge. Do the other thing. No! No! Why am I struggling with basic motor functions? Alright. Your Conga good shot. There we go. So is his little tank top stained with like yellow banana schmear? Oh, I like his little I am so ashamed pose. I want them to do more with Conga. I know Conga came back throughout the series, but I always felt like he could be a great secondary antagonist to Banjo. You know, not the main villain, but somebody who's kind of this roguish ne'er-do-well who, you know, comes in, has his own agenda, and fucks everything up. I don't know. I want Rare to do more with the primates they have in their stable. And I wanted that even back when they still, you know, were making Donkey Kong games. I do appreciate the little tributes to Conga in the Banjo-Kazooie reveal trailer, using Donkey Kong in his place. I guess symbolizing Chimpy with Diddy. I really shouldn't have broken that that hive. Got ahead of myself, didn't I? Alright, let's go up the path here. So the introduction of the tickers. It's disgusting the way their eyes fly off. Like did they really have to break apart so completely? Like, Banjo is not just kicking them aside, kicking them asunder. He is mutilating them. And there's nothing to indicate that the tickers are doing anything but living their lives here. Again, just like I'm shocked to go back and see that it was Bottles who drew first blood with Kazooie. It's the tickers didn't do anything. I guess they would attack you, but you're an intruder near their termite mound. Ah, okay. The Talon Trot, finally, will let Kazooie tackle steep slopes with ease. It's weird to play the game without the Talon Trot. Ah, there we go. There we go. That feels nice. Just these nondescript ancient jungle ruins. It's not even like in the Donkey Kong games where you can pinpoint their origin. Like, oh, Kremlins built these. This is part of the Kremlantis Empire. It's established in Donkey Kong Land, you know. Or, you know, oh, these are ancient Kong temples from the ancient Tiki-Tak tribe. No, these are just jungle ruins. I don't know. Who cares? I guess the ancients of the Sea of Thieves built these. Whatever. It doesn't fucking matter. It's never going to be addressed. Ah. I haven't talked about the music at all, but I mean, this is, I think, the soundtrack that Grant Kirkhope will always be known the most for. And I mean, every track is killer. I mean, this, I don't ever like to say like this is an artist's finest work because it diminishes everything else they've done, and it implies like they're never going to be able to touch something, mostly due to the power of nostalgia again. So that being said, I can't think of a single track in Banjo-Kazooie that isn't enormously catchy and just so effortlessly fits the feelings the game wants you to feel for every world. That yellow Jinjo. It's always surprising, too, how short Mumbo's Mountain relatively is. I mean, when you're not being obnoxiously long in your playthrough. It is as much of a training area. Yippee! You've collected enough notes to break the first note door spell. I've never understood, like, oh, I can finally leave this world that I have barely done anything in. Finally, I can move on. It's like, no, I want to squeeze the life out of this world. I want to get the most out of it that I can get. But yeah, like, Grant Kirkhope, I know, like, the musicians help set the tone of the game. So David Wise is so associated with the Donkey Kong series, particularly because he helped set the tone. Same way that Grant Kirkhope did with Banjo-Kazooie. But, I mean, I couldn't imagine anybody else doing the music for this game other than Grant. And this is really when Grant became the go-to guy for the Stampers during this time period. Just amazing the amount of output he had in such a short amount of time. It's always weird taking the normal paths up Mumbo's Mountain and then getting the Talon Trot, because you associate the whole world with the Talon Trot after a certain point. And before I had the Talon Trot, I had to walk up the regular paths. I also like just the way the game is designed here, because you can't reach these upper levels. I guess you can, never mind. I was gonna say, oh, I really like that, you know, the top side levels of Mumbo's Mountain are not accessible without the Talon Trot, so you have to learn. But no, look, I can walk up here just fine. Okay, well, never mind. That's stupid. Stupid Banjo-Kazooie. Last time I compliment you. Alright, let's learn our last move in Mumbo's Mountain. The Beak Buster. Jump into the air. I forget that it's called the Beak Buster. Some of the moves are so memorable, like Rat-a-tat-rap, Talon Trot, but some of them are utterly forgettable. The Beak Buster, it's just the ground pound. It's just the ground pound. Whoa, Banjo! There's nothing more. Like, what was that surprising? And really, you could teach us more. You just won't. So I never played Banjo-Kazooie with the Rumble Pack. I tried out the Rumble Pack with Diddy Kong Racing, and after a certain point, I was like, I don't really need this in my life. So I stopped using the Rumble Pack. So to have the rumble effects on an N64 controller, because it's built into the N64 controller for the Switch, it's giving me sensations I never felt before with Banjo-Kazooie. Just odd. Hello to Zexpic X Mario. Hello, welcome to DK Vine Done Slow. Says, I followed you on Facebook for years. Never knew you had Twitch. Sorry, I'm a bad person. No, you're not a bad person. Most people don't know we have Twitch. It's fine. So I'm just catching up with the chat here. Andre asked, Conga. I thought you were gonna say, is his little tank top stained with the blood of his enemies? Maybe. I mean, if he's fighting people with yellow blood. And then Chris asks, are you gonna lose all your lives so that we get to see the increasingly exhausted life portraits? That's the question. You will see me deplete my energy. You will see me deplete my lives as the game progresses. I'm not going to spoil that moment here when I don't have to. I will die naturally quite a bit because, like I said, I'm still getting the hang of playing this on an N64 controller again. And honestly, it has been years since I've actually attempted to beat Banjo-Kazooie. So I'm sure once I get to the later worlds, I will be rubbish. You will see me die quite a bit in Rusty Bucket Bay. And here's this little bit of wanton vandalism. They're just destroying these homes. Like, what the hell? What the hell? This is... There's some ugly bits to Banjo-Kazooie that don't hold up. And just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stroll into this native village. And I'm gonna destroy these homes because, whatever, we're on a mission from God. Or I mean, jeez, calm down. Like, they never thought about maybe notifying the authorities that 2D had been abducted. And we got all the Jinjos. I don't even know what the authorities would look like in this neck of the woods. The bear police? I don't know. But I know Brentilda is a powerful person within the context of the Rare Archipelago. One of the administrators of the Isle of Hags, owns Grunty Industries, owns Witchy World. She's a mover and a shaker, and she might be beyond the arm of the law, for all we know. We've seen in recent years how very powerful people get away with all sorts of crimes. So, nope, don't go see Mumbo yet. Yes. So Mumbo's hut is just a skull, and I love it. Is the Jiggy always hidden in that one, or do they specifically make it so it's the last one you hit, and they just cycle through all of the things you can get from there? I honestly don't know. I'm asking myself aloud. Maybe you in the stream will know, but... Oh, I want to go into the Ticker Mound as Banjo and Kazooie. Or as Banjo. I guess she's always Kazooie. Hey, ugly, no bears allowed in Ticker's Tower. So you can get to a certain height in here before it becomes impenetrable. And I'm sure people have done it. I'm sure people have actually gone up the whole thing. I'm sure there's exploits and ways around it. But for our purposes, we will try to do it the right way. Yeah, just more casual racism or speciesism in the world of Banjo-Kazooie in the DKU, where, you know, a lot of these animals, they live in relative harmony with one another, but then you'll see, like, things like the Tickers, who are very exclusionary to those who aren't their kind, or later in the game, Waza, who hates bears. Now, granted, if you live next to the Boggy, you would probably, you know, if your only experience with bears is Boggy, well then, yeah, you might hate them, and you might think, you know, they're all a bunch of good-for-nothings. But we're gonna go see Mumbo, but now that I have the ground pound, we're going to go back and hit the witch switch before I forget. Oh, Conga's not ashamed anymore. Conga's angry again. No, stop! Why? Every damn time! And then every damn time I miss. Come on. Alright. Alright. Alright now. Oh, but how do you reach that? How do you get up there? I do like the witch switch concept. That there's a hidden switch in every world that gives you a Jiggy back in Grunty's lair. Now, I'm not going to do that, Conga. I have nothing to gain from that. I'm sorry. I love you, Conga. I love you as a character, but we're done. We are done. Let's go see Juju, the oh god, the totem pole, Mumbo's totem pole. So this is Mumbo's primary residence, right? This is where he lives, arguably 80% of the time. He's got all these other huts throughout the realms of Banjo-Kazooie, in Spiral Mountain and the Witch's Lair, and across the Isle of Hags. But this is Mumbo's mountain. This is where Mumbo does most of his dealings. This is where he spends most of his time. This is where his mail goes to. This is where he's registered to vote, right? This is his primary residence. And so we never really talk about Juju, Mumbo's totem pole, and I guess friend? I don't know. And the question is, like, why does he have this? What culture created this? Mumbo didn't create this. This is left over from whatever civilization was here. And I guess Mumbo, you know, gets along well enough with Juju. But their relationship has never been defined. Probably because Juju is a stupid character. Oh, that's satisfying with the rumble, actually. That feels good. Alright. So yeah, you if you're not observant, you can, whoa! You can completely miss that the honeycomb is up there. I almost forgot about myself. The only reason it was rattling around in my brain at all was because I looked up and I saw it. You can see it if you do bother to look up at Juju in his magnificent towering form. So we're gonna get that. Well, it's quite okay. He does spin really fast, and it does sort of make you nauseous if you focus on that. Nice. All right. So now we can miss every shot we make. Okay. All right. You know what? There we go. Only wasted 10 eggs there. Chris is throwing Juju back in my face and asked, "Why do you, meaning me, have a gigantic Conker statue?" I also have a giant Banjo-Kazooie statue, so that's fair point. Fair point. And Chris also says it's weird that Juju spinning moves Banjo, but does not rotate him. Yeah, that's weird, but I guess that would just make it too disorienting for the player. Let me press and view totals really quick, 'cause I'm just curious. Mumbo's Mountain, 90 out of 100 notes, 9 out of 10 jiggies, and 1 out of 2 honeycombs. I couldn't remember how many honeycombs were actually in Mumbo's Mountain. And look, the little watch there, little stop clock, stopwatch, whatever. Interesting. And then we can go back and we can also see Grunty's Lair. Only 1 out of 10 jiggies. Spiral Mountain, I've done everything. I was in Spiral Mountain for 34 minutes and 18 seconds. Wow. Probably not setting any records there, but it's still shocking. So let's go see him. Let's go see the legend himself, Mumbo Jumbo. And this is early Mumbo. This is before he was kind of cutesified for his appearance in Banjo-Tooie. He's still, you know, a hideous skull-clad beast man, but me Mumbo, best shaman in all game, can help Banjo and Filthy Feathered One. Watch it, Hut Boy. Mumbo's magic tokens hid by witch. Find tokens and Mumbo help you. For Banjo not got enough tokens for Mumbo magic. Look at sign, bring more. It's funny that I forgot that Grunty hid. When did she have time to do this? When did she have time to gather the Mumbo tokens and hide them? She's very industrious, this Brentilda. But yeah, Mumbo's original design is far creepier than he would have in Banjo-Kazooie, or Banjo-Tooie onward. Let's see if we can look behind his chair. Trying to get a good look at him from behind, but I don't know if the game will grant us that. Yeah, so there you can see. So you're probably used to seeing Mumbo with the full skull mask. It's more like a helmet, just a full 360-degree skull. Here is the half skull look for Mumbo. And so when the instruction manual and the lore states that Brentilda turned his face into a mask of horror, the question is, did she literally transform it into the skull, or is he wearing a mask to cover up the horror underneath? I've always preferred the latter interpretation because he does change his mask from time to time. He's only done it once, really. But Ed Bryan has been on record as stating, you know, they changed it for Tooie because if Mumbo's playable, Mumbo looks a bit shit if you're going to see, not his words, but if you see him from behind and you see that pinkish flesh at all points, you want some sort of visual consistency breaking up all the blobs of pinky, scaly, whatever he is. So that's why they changed his mask. But you can't get around the fact that his mask looked like this in this game. So that's why I think the mask is more of a thing he decided to wear himself rather than something Brentilda transformed him into. My take, I'm not saying Rare supports that, but that's, I think, the only way you can really fan wank around the fact that the mask looks like this in this game. So yeah, Mumbo is far creepier in this. Come on. Oh no, the flame hurts me. It's not just magical. Okay, that's where I get up. All right. I was like, oh yeah, that flame. It's not actually fire that will harm me. It's just mystical decor. No. Oh my god. There we go. Get up there. Alright, so I need to find the last Mumbo skull. Hold on. What are those? What are those? Is that supposed to be like... They're, again, rotating sprites. I'm not sure. What are those supposed to... Balloons? Are they, like, deflated balloons? What are those? What? Is he drying fruit? Is that what that's supposed to be? Medicine pouches, Chris says. Alright. I completely, I guess, never registered that there were so many, like, sprite-based things in the game that, like, rotate whenever you look at them. I associate that more with Mario Kart 64, you know. Alright. I missed the Mumbo token, so this is actually where I have to go hunting a bit. Hey, found it. Okay. That didn't take long. I thought there was one around there, but, you know. Let's go transform. Mumbo was such an intriguing concept to me as a child. I loved the character, and I think I loved him less after Banjo-Tooie, but I still really like the general idea of Mumbo. I know you could read some problematic things into it in our more enlightened era now, but I think it's only problematic when he's been referred to in media materials as a witch doctor. I think shaman is more neutral. And I remember Nintendo, at least Nintendo of America, like, said what he did, what Mumbo did was practice voodoo. Which, no, that's not voodoo. Voodoo's a real thing, a real religion. Let's not... Ah, Banjo has plenty tokens. Stand on skull and press B to see mighty Mumbo magic. So I think the fact that it's so agnostic, it's so undefined, he's just a cartoon creature. He's not even human. Like, what is he even supposed to be? Yeah, you could read things into him and what he might appropriate from real life cultures and real life shamans, but I think Mumbo's skirts just barely. He's fine, and with a little more thought put into how he's portrayed in future appearances, he's totally cool. It's Humbo where things get a little bit dodgy, but well, we're not playing Banjo-Tooie, are we? So we don't discuss that. But yeah, I love that. Not only do Banjo and Kazooie meet this freak, but they also befriend him. I like the weird circle of friends they have based off of their experiences in this game. And there it is. There it is. The first transformation of the game. Termite. Mumbo's magic free to change back. You come when ready. Termite bit small, but not bad for first spell. Mumbo practice needed. So that implies that this is the first spell Mumbo has ever cast, which we know is not even true, based off of Grunty's Revenge. And I think he just meant the first time he's transformed Banjo. But if we apply the whatever happened philosophy of time travel to the DKU, to Banjo-Kazooie, that means that Mumbo has some recollection of Banjo being in 1978. Oh, of course, you could debate whether the spells they were used really uses that method of time travel, or if it's are we getting the multiverse theory? Like, whatever. But point is that was not Mumbo's first spell, but it's the first time he's canonically transformed Banjo from Banjo's perspective. So, and I guess he hasn't done his transformation on a bear in quite a long time anyway. So. So yeah, the Termite Banjo, of course, not the most exciting transformation, but it really does help sell it. The fact that you can jump so loosey-goosey and you can move a bit faster, and it's cool. It helps sell the idea. Of course, the question has always been, what happens to Kazooie during the Mumbo transformations? And I think she's just still in the backpack. She's still a Breagle in the backpack, but she doesn't really know how to work in concert with Banjo's newly transmorgified body. It's a word. You can look it up. It's in a dictionary. It's in a dictionary. It's in my dictionary. Anyway. So Kazooie just elects to stay in the backpack during these sequences. It's not elegant. And it's mostly owing to Kazooie being a relatively late addition to the game. She's more of a glorified extension of Banjo than anything else. But we don't view her as that. And neither does Rare at this point, but in the actual terms of game development, it would help if I would jump. God. All right. And yeah, this is a cool feeling to be able to cling to something you couldn't even walk on with the Talon Trot. Camera perspective is a little bit shifty there, but here we go. Hey, where did you get those shorts? I want them. That's weird. It's weird, right? That I guess these termites have never worn clothes, and yet they see a termite wearing clothes and they're like, you are a trendsetter right there. I want to be just like you fashionable bitch. It makes sense, and of course it makes sense considering how many characters in the shared world obsess over underpants and trousers and what have you. Of course, that would be the first thing that would catch on in the ticker community. And now things get hostile. Now like this trendsetter is getting threats tossed this way. It's like we've already gone from you're the most popular person here to I am your psycho wannabe assassin. I am your Mark David Chapman, and I want your backpack, you phony. I read Catcher in the Rye, and I'm coming for you. No! All right, climb back up. God, the texture in the termite mound. It's really cool how they do convey this is a termite mound, Ticker's Tower, excuse me. But that's clearly chewed up wood pulp. I never really put that together back in the day, but yeah, that's what I'm walking on is just chewed up wood. Or maybe chewed up something or else. No, not again. Not again. All right. Oh my God. All right. Ugh. There we go. I was jumping too early. Yeah, top of the world. And here we get our beautiful view of the top of Mumbo's Mountain. I can just think back into the day, imagining how on earth am I going to find that ice key? How do I get inside that ice key cavern? And everything was on the table, including trying to jump from here to over there, thinking maybe the abyss over yonder would provide me with some sort of pathway through the game. Yeah, didn't really work out well for me. And of course, I'm scared of breaking boundaries, right? But when I was playing with my friend, when we were like determined to try to figure out how to get that ice key, we felt like we were invulnerable. Like nothing was too scary a possibility to entertain to figure out how to get those eggs and that ice key. So we're walking back over. Actually, hold on. Before I leave Mumbo's Mountain, it's been a long time since I walked around as a ticker in my life. Does Conga react at all? No. I mean, he throws oranges, but he doesn't say anything like, hey, you lousy termite, stay in your part of the world. Bye, Conga. For real this time. I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back to see you. You're done. Oh. Well, he gored me into the water, which is fine because I wanted to explore the fact that for whatever reason, termites can breathe underwater, or at least hold their breath for a really long time. I guess they just decided, you know, there was no point. There's no point in worrying about an air meter. The small instance. Oh yeah, there's the other honeycomb piece. There we go. Got it. Oh wow, I feel so powerful right now as this termite. I can walk on anything. This is a good feeling, actually. I never feel this powerful in my normal life. This is the mad science origin story where I try to, you know, augment my body with the power of an insect and I turn into some Cronenbergian horror. Whee! Just love everything about Termite Banjo. Just look at his face. Look when you jump. How excited is that? How excited is that bear to be an insect? Oh, Andre's screaming at me. Andre's screaming. The water is so oxygenated from the jungle vegetation that termites can suck up the air bubbles as if they were just breathing air. God. You're right, Andre. You're right, and I see I've taught you well. I think that it's been requested I also speak to A Bottle's molehill somewhere in here, so yeah, let's just find out. Let's just find out. Always weird when I'm playing Switch and I'm streaming it and friends come online and they're like, oh, one of my friends is playing Splatoon 2. I'm like, okay. That's not DKU. That's not on brand. Nah, you can't talk to bottles. You can't engage with the molehills as the termite. Okay. I've wasted enough time. Let's go outside the level. that's a cool little way that's designed, so you can see the level exit from afar, so you know how to get out. And I like the little shimmering little Star Trek. Cool. Alright. And yeah, so now the notes will be back whenever I go back in. But I've collected 100, so I'm good. And then, yep. 2 Jiggies in Grunty's lair. Oh man, I can't tell you how many times I've tried to go elsewhere as Termite Banjo. When you open a world door, baddies escape and roam once more. Yes, and that's why there is now a ticker walking around outside of the entrance to Mumbo's Mountain. I also like how, this is something, you know, Ukulele also obviously borrowed from this game, but you've got kind of the world of Mumbo's Mountain bleeding out into Grunty's lair because of the proximity of this this portal to it. So you've got sort of the grassy hills of Mumbo's Mountain actually manifesting within Grunty's lair. That I always appreciate that little detail. It makes, I don't know, whatever magic is involved here appear that much more powerful, and it really stimulates your imagination about how like the realms are bleeding into one another. And then here we go. If you walk far enough, as the ticker, Mumbo says, Mumbo magic get weak, animal turn back, or magic go. Nope. Magic all gone. Must go back to Baron Bird now. So that dialogue implies Kazooie has been transformed into nothing, but I think she's still in the backpack, personally. And yep, so now we can Talon Trot up the hill. Had to remember how to Talon Trot. This is not an Xbox controller. And there is our first note door. Just arbitrary gates. This is a note door sealed by Grunty with one of her powerful musical spells. Musical spells. Wow, like that's not elaborated on much, that Grunty has musical spells? Like, does she play it with an enchanted flute that she won from the devil? Like, I want to know more about what a musical spell is, because that would at least bring some sort of logic into why they're music notes, and thematically tie in with the fact that they are Banjo and Kazooie. I don't think any of her other spells are referred to as musical spells. Cool. Thanks, Bottles. Alright. We don't have too much longer in today's stream. That door was easy, you got past. Unfortunately, you're first and last. And there she is, everyone. The moment you've been waiting for. Yes, it is everybody's favorite video game character, Brentilda Winky Bunyan. So, where do I even begin? There's a Gruntling, the first Gruntling in the game. You don't even encounter them until you get to the second level of Grunty's lair. Let's go ahead and dispatch before we talk to Brentilda. If any baddie is the main kind of stock creature in Grunty's monster army, it's the Gruntlings. But they're not really seen that much outside of the Lair, of course. Grunty's Revenge does more with them, I think, than even Banjo-Kazooie does. Let's go down here really quick. Yes, the fast travel method of the game, Grunty's Cauldrons. Find 2 the same color to create a shortcut. And it just spits me back out. Grunty's Cauldrons. Why does she need so many cauldrons scattered throughout the lair? Like, I would think Dingpot would suffice, unless she's got something cooking in Dingpot and she needs to work on other spells. But they always look so friendly and so happy in comparison to everything else about Brentilda's milieu, her style, and I don't know. They don't seem like they fit. They seem like they would fit more with Brentilda. So let's look at Brentilda now that she's fully materialized before we talk to her. So obviously this is playing off the fairy godmother trope, and so if Grunty is a wicked witch, then Brentilda is the good witch. But because they wanted to, you know, signify that they are related, they gave Brentilda green skin. And I always took Brentilda's complexion to be the fact that she was practicing like evil magic and that was making her sickly looking. Like I never thought like her complexion was because like she had chlorophyll in her veins or whatever. Like she's human. She's a human character. She just looks like a cartoonish Halloween witch. And Brentilda, you side with Banjo but change tack. Imagine you on Grunty's back. Brentilda trying to seduce Kazooie to the dark side there. But I think that the only way Brentilda having green skin works, this is the way I actually rationalized it as a kid and in the early days of DK Vine. I said that Brentilda did practice evil witchcraft with Gruntilda and Mingella and Blobelda. She was the 4th Winky Bunyan sister who went in as this kind of coven of evil. And then she had a change of heart and she left and she started practicing good magic. But because the effects of the black magic on her body were so harsh and severe, they have remained a physical remnant to remind her of the dark path she once took. Which is reading way too much into it, because they made her green because she's Brentilda's sister, and we have to communicate that visually. I also said that her nose decayed off like Michael Jackson, back when we were all making the Michael Jackson plastic surgery jokes, which I recognize now was probably bullying somebody with, you know, severe mental health issues and image problems, but nonetheless, there we are. I said Brentilda doesn't have a nose because it decayed off because of her black magic usage. And even though I recognize saying it aloud now how absurd that is, I still 100% believe it. All right, let's talk to her. And so the way Banjo-Kazooie works is Brentilda will give you clues for Grunty's furnace fun, which we don't know about until the end of the game. Right now, at this point, all we know, or all that we're supposed to know, is that Brentilda is going to key us in on key aspects of Grunty's life. Gruntilda trivia. And that might come in usage. Might come in handy later on when we try to defeat Brentilda. Who knows? Who knows? So right now, it's just in good faith that we're taking these bits of trivia she's going to dispel, and we're squirreling them away for later, pocketing them in our pockets. But each time you play Banjo-Kazooie, the little Brentilda factoid she gives will be different. They are unique to each save file. So you have some options, but you can either have photographic memory, and you know, just remember everything, or you can write them down. And back in 1998, you better believe I wrote everything down, my Brentilda facts, and I put them in my Banjo-Kazooie Player's Guide. So, here's what we're going to do for DK by Done Slow. I did not come prepared. I don't have a pen and paper nearby. So, I'm going to have you, the stream, jot down the answers for me, and then I will archive them. And then when we get to Grunty's Furnace Fun, however long it takes, then I'll have all the answers in front of me. So here we go. Are you ready? Hello there, young ones. I'm Brentilda. Brentilda's nicest sister. Yeah, I've crept down here to help you defeat the old hag. It's about time she was taught a lesson. I know all of Grunty's disgusting secrets, and I'll tell you 3 of them every time you find me. Remember them well, young ones, as they will help you avoid a fiery fate. Press B if you'd like to hear them. So, she's kind of like page 6 of the New York Post, or Paris Hilton of her day. She's dishing juicy, disgusting celebrity gossip, and probably overstepping her bounds. Grunty brushes her rotten teeth with salted slug flavored toothpaste. Alright, write that down, everyone. She also washes her hair with rancid milk. Yuck! And she gets her clothes from the trash can. The trash can. Yeah, and then she's... So you get 3 per Brentilda location. So it's weird, too, because Brentilda says, I crept down. So I've always thought that Brentilda is living in the lair, in the witch's lair. Like, after she had her falling out with Brentilda, in my fanon, she remained here, living in the shadows, sort of staying one step ahead of Brentilda and her forces. And there's nothing Brentilda can do about it. So after the events of Banjo-Kazooie, I like to imagine Brentilda just took over the lair herself. She and Cheeto just are living it up in the abandoned witch's lair. Alright. Yeah, the Brentilda clues, some of them are actually risque, but at this stage, the ones I got, and they were just pretty stupid and silly. This is Kazooie's shock jump disc. Find me, and I'll tell you how to use it. Alright, well, let's at least unlock Treasure Trove Cove as a beautiful to be continued for next time. Nope. To remove pieces that you have already put down, press the down C button. But once the picture is complete, all the pieces are stuck there permanently. So, I've never done this, because why would I want to? But there you go. Alright. And then we cut away to this mysterious location. Where could this be in the lair? We've just unlocked Treasure Trove Cove. It's weird that these are still interactable at all and that they glow when you step on them, considering you can't do anything with that. Anyway, yes, there we go. So, next time on DK Vine Done Slow, Treasure Trove Cove. Oh, she's gonna interrupt my my ending here. So what we're going to do is let me Okay. I'm trying to get situated so there we go. All right. So no, that's still not straight. Okay. No. Okay, close enough. Let me see. Where's the... There it is. Let's create a suspend point. Yes, overwrite that meaningless data. I'm just getting screenshots before. Okay, so we've got that. We're gonna watch the game over sequence to end this first stream because it's got to come up at some point, right? So I figured the end of the first stream is as good as any because I'm hopefully not going to get any natural game overs throughout the DK Vine Done Slow Adventures. But this is the end of today's stream, except for the game over sequence we're about to watch together. So I want to plug this Sunday, DK Vine's Stream of Thieves. Tune in at 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. BST, as the crew of the Dreadfully Evil will play the all-new Pirate Legend Voyage in Sea of Thieves. And then tune in next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, 1 a.m. Wednesday morning, British summertime, for the Idaho crew. Yes, the Idaho crew. It's Adam, Andrew, Dustin, and Tate. They all live together. They all room together. And they play random DKU games or games they can tie into with some sort of vague DKU theming Tuesday nights on our Twitch channel. And they never tell me what they're going to stream until like that afternoon. So just find out. Find out. And then join us back here next Wednesday, 1:30 p.m. Eastern, 10:30 a.m. Pacific, 6:30 p.m. BST, as I will be playing Treasure Trove Cove, Banjo-Kazooie's DK Vine Done Slow Run. Also, the conversation this weekend will be a new conversation mini about Fangamer's new rare merchandise that just went on sale yesterday, including the new Rare Racer shirt, the Great Mighty Pooh plush, that great Rareware logo pillow that we all want to hug. Yeah, so that's going to be a great conversation mini. It's going to be a great podcast. Shilling merchandise we haven't been paid to shill. All right, let's look at this. Let's save and quit. Are you sure? Yeah, I guess. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Tootie. Tootie, you're going to regret that. This is weird, right? Like, every time you actually just want to save and quit, you have to see this, like, the Hero Falls timeline. But it's a great scene, so I don't really mind. Help me, Banjo. I feel all funny. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. Alright. Yeah, this makes you feel things. If this is what you're into, this makes you feel things. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna sugarcoat it. I kinda understand what Mumbo's doing here. And really, if that's the worst that happens, just let Grunty have her way. Like, it's not like 2D really sticks around in the series much after this. What has really been undone here? She can just run off to the Minecraft realm, where she spends all of her time anyway. Bye! Thanks for watching!